And joining us now to discuss more about the teacher vacancies and the school district's budget is the Interim Superintendent Dr. Shawn Joseph.
Dr. Joseph, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so in that press conference earlier this afternoon, you all mentioned that you're starting the recruitment process about 2 months earlier, and that's really as early as you guys have done it before.
Yes.
So is that something that you say that you've been able to cut those teacher vacancies by that 52%?
Well, no, we cut vacancies, I think, because we've improved salaries dramatically, and we put a push on ensuring that vacancies that had just been pervasively there, that there was an urgency to get them filled. And I think we also benefited from the federal workers shortage. Many people began transitioning and being interested in getting conditional licenses to come in and work with us. But it's been a lot of hard work, and we're going to work harder and smarter to make sure all of our classes are filled with qualified candidates.
Yeah.
And there definitely are some challenges ahead, and we know that the Prince George's County Public Schools has a $150 million deficit. So first off, just how do we get here?
Yes. Well, we got here a multitude of reasons. One, 2 years ago, we had a telecommunications tax that was dedicated for education, and that was about $64 million that we would get above the minimum. When the legislation was passed to allow that funding source to be a part of the minimum, and instead of being in addition to the minimum, $64 million needed to be made up for us over the past 2 years. So we started pulling from our savings account to fill those gaps. Then, as we reduced our vacancies by 52%, we budget for vacancies. So the good news is we filled positions. The bad news is it shoots the projections off as you're filling in a budget. And that's something that, most big budgets do. So that's not an uncommon practice. Third, we had our union contracts that closed. And so that put $102 million giving those 3% raises across the board. And again, our employees deserve those raises. We need them to compete in the region. But it's $102 million now that you must address. In speaking with County Executive Braveboy and in speaking with our board president, Brandon Jackson, when I started, the big charge for me was we need to reduce our ask by tightening our belt. It's just like in any family. When things are getting tight, you got to tighten up. So we looked for efficiencies within the district. We worked, to cut vacant positions and things of that nature. And we've reduced that budget. So we're going to be asking for $50 million, which is a modest increase. It's the smallest increase of all local counties around us.
And I want to ask you, what are your top immediate budget priorities, as well as what are you committed to protecting from budget cuts?
Yes, absolutely. Number one is special education. My request is going to have about $30 million in special education improvements. As a system, we've got to do right by our neediest students. And special education was an issue as I entered the district. I've heard families talk about our special education needs, and we want to put a budget forth that addresses those needs. In addition, we want to focus on reading and mathematics. We want to continue to recruit and retain top talent, so keeping a competitive salary. And we also want to get students prepared with AI literacy. We've got to teach students how to use AI appropriately and effectively, as well as teach teachers how to use it effectively. So that'll be a big push for us as we move into next year. And then, of course, finally, safety and security. We've got to make sure our kids remain safe and our staff remain safe in our buildings. So again, for all of that, it's a very modest request, but it's needed to continue to move us forward. So I'm calling this a stabilization budget. I'm just trying to get us back to where we were 2 years ago before the tax situation shifted and we no longer received the telecommunications tax.
And what role do you think the Maryland General Assembly will play, especially with the legislative session just starting yesterday?
Yes. Well, I'm hoping we continue the commitment to fund the blueprint. That's really important for us because 58% of our budget comes from the state. 33% of our budget comes from the county government. So the county government gives us approximately $970 million. and so of our $2.9 billion budget. So that's really important that the state funding remains strong because it's the largest portion of our budget.
And lastly, I do want to ask, the State of the Schools address is next week. What message do you plan on sending to parents and students?
Yes, next week, I want all parents to tune in, to it. You can watch it live streamed. And the message is we're moving forward as a district. We will not be defined by cuts. We have our key accelerants, like I just mentioned, and we are confident that if we receive the funding request that we've asked for, we can accelerate performance in Prince George's County Public Schools.
All right, Dr. Joseph, I thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
You can hear more from Dr. Joseph at the 2026 State of the Schools Address taking place on Tuesday, January 20th at Suitland High School.
The reception will be from 5 to 45 p.m. and the address goes from 6 to 7 p.m. It will be live streamed on the PGCPS's YouTube page.